Hello, friends, and welcome back for yet another season of lag, input drops, frame rate dips, and general nonsense. As always, I am your host, Simulus67. You can call me Sim, just don't call me late for AQ. We are now in Season 11 of Alliance War, which now includes defense tactics, global nodes designed to allow each alliance to choose in what manner their opponent's glory and item stashes will be emptied. This is my 5th tour of duty with Rogue Tech, where our goal this season is to actually enlist for all 12 wars. Our first one today is against these guys, so let's get right into it. So we'll be taking in Void, Namor, and my freshly R5'd Symbiote Supreme today. Symbiote Supreme was my 6th R5, I believe. First up, we have a Mordo on long distance relationship and special lock 1. So really the goal here is to get lucky with petrifies and then let him just twirl his baton and kill himself with degen because he typically refuses to attack. If I don't have petrifies up, it's really just baiting the heavy attacks for an opening and then trying to bait out the specials. But when he has that power gain buff up, he becomes super passive. You can see I'm just sitting there, he's just sitting there. I lucked out big time, got the petrifies up first, so his power gain is not an issue. So if he wants to sit back there when the power gain buff is up, he is more than welcome to do so, because you can see he's ticking down for not as lot as I would like, not as much as I would like rather. And that's because I'm trying to keep the weakness debuffs off me. I don't need the willpower healing right now, so I don't want to stay too close to him, just enough to bait out the special attacks when I need to. Other than that, it's a pretty standard Mordo fight. The special luck 1 doesn't really bother me because most of the time, 95% of the time with Void, I'm just spamming the special 1 anyways. I will use the special 2 when I'm feeling a little sassy, and special 3 is really only in select situations, and then there goes Mordo. So, all right, next up we have another Mordo, and this is on the hidden node. This is the Aegis Heavy node. Now this is pretty tricky, and you'll see me attempt to heavy bait his heavy and then counter with a heavy. But Void's heavy, it doesn't have the range to snap to him. So you see, I get heavy intercepted there, so I realize that tactic is not going to work. So my next tactic is really just to parry him, and then try and launch the heavy attack at the instant the stun timer goes down. So I do get two of my 3 heavy attacks in there, and then you can see I wait out the parry stun until just the last second, and then I don't know what I was thinking with the special 1 there. He blocked it. Fortunately, I did not get punished. And I'm also regenning most of the health that I took from the initial heavy intercept. So, 45 seconds in, his indestructible charges are gone. I'm in a decent place, got the petrify up. So now it's really just a repeat of the previous fight. This is a tricky placement, only because there's really, you have to be very, very quick with the heavy attack after the parry stun timer. Unless you have a champ, I suppose, like maybe like a Doc Ock or a who else has like a wide-ranging heavy attack? Maybe like an Archangel, I think, could probably do this. If you have a normal champ, you're not going to be able to bait out his heavy because you have to dash back too far, and he doesn't lunge far enough forward for you to heavy intercept him. So you really have to do that trick with the parry. And I think Dork Lessons was the person who I got that from, so thanks to you, Dave. All right, moving up to the mini-boss island. I don't know if you guys heard my dog bark in the background, so you probably saw something outside. All right, so this is an Iron Man. I boosted up just a small attack boost, and this is really only so I didn't time out. The issue with this fight in the past has not been dying. The issue has been if he doesn't want to throw his heavy attack and he just wants to constantly hit into my block. That is really what causes the fight to be extended and really in danger of a timeout. So that 10% attack boost will help. The other thing is that in this season and last season with the new map, there's really not a lot of opportunity on most paths for you to bring champs specifically for synergies. Like I've been finding myself, having to devote all 3 spots in my attack team to champions that I'm actually planning on using on my path, or for a mini boss. In the previous map, I would bring, I would just do my whole path with Void, bring Killmonger for some healing, bring Omega Red for some extra damage on the degen. I really don't feel like I can do that. So unless you have a high-ranking champion that you would both use and have a synergy activated for, so like if my Killmonger was R4 or R5, which he's not, maybe I could consider bringing him if the need arose. But I'm bringing champs that don't really synergize well with each other, so a little bit of a disadvantage here. Maybe I could have you can see here I'm taking all block damage. I've lost a third of my health just in block damage from this Iron Man. It would have been alleviated somewhat with Omega Red and Killmonger on my team, both from the healing and he'd be degenning faster. So not really a complaint per se. I like that I have to strategize more for my path and for war in general. I do make fun of war and I complain a lot about it, more so in my line chat than on here. But I do enjoy things like setting up our defense and trying to consider interactions between nodes and champions that will give people a hard time. I just, although on the contrary, I don't really like having those interactions used against me. So it's a love-hate relationship for sure. So called Sentry in to finish up this Iron Man, and we are moving on. So you can see I took almost half my health, or over half my health, just in block damage. 52 hits. All right, moving on. We've got a Havoc, so I'm going to heal up Void. You never know how Havoc fights are going to go, especially with Void, since his specials are energy damage. You're giving him, plasma charges. If you're baiting out heavies, he will convert those charges into prowess. So as long as you don't take a special hit, you'll be fine doing it that way. I think I also boost up here with a health boost. Again, this is a 6-star, and he's not duped, so he's not getting the bonus plasma charges. But if he's going to hold on to his specials, and I'm going to spend most of the fight baiting him, I could take a few plasma detonations, and I really don't want to have that happen. So, of course, then I get into the fight, and I discover that this person is running suicides, and I chuckle to myself because he is just going to melt away from the bleed, plus the degen from the poison, plus my debuffs, and on top of that, he's already placed a plasma charge debuff on me, which means I am keeping my health topped off. So sometimes you prep and you waste boosts and you waste potions, and it turns out the fight is really not much of a fight at all. So he's going to go down in about 40 hits or so here. Actually, I don't even know if I do another hit. I think I just let him degen it down. So 36 hits, yeah, and finished with the yellow bar. So can't be disappointed with how that fight went, even if I wasted some items. So, all right, this is an Omega Red. This is a Buffet and Best Defense and Empower Immunity. Really, only Buffet is the problem here for Void. It's not really a problem as long as I keep my distance and not let 10 of those, whatever they're called, spore things on me. So I dropped a frame there, dropped an input, and threw my special one into his block, which sucked. Whatever. I feel like Void is a good counter in general for Omega, other than a robot, of course, because his specials are so long in animation and they push him further away from Omega that really anytime you use your special one, you're guaranteed to drop all of your spores if you have any. So And if you're not doing it then, you're also doing it when you're dodging his special one, because Omega Red's animation is pretty lengthy as well. So the name of the game here with the buffet node is just to get the reverse healing up, and then pretty much let him kill himself. So one thing I noticed on this fight in particular is that it appears that the buffet regen is bugged, and not in a way that really makes a difference. It seems like the regen only occurs when the dexterity buff is used rather than when it's gained. And reading the buffet node, it's supposed to be the other way around, and it always used to be the other way around. So again, doesn't really matter one way or the other, but that definitely seems like an issue. All right, so this is kind of where the war goes off the rails for me personally, anyway. So this is a Corvus on breakthrough, I think. So I go in with Sim Supreme, pretty confident that I can do this. He's only got like 27% health left. But what ends up happening here, and you'll see it, is so Corvus does a double medium into my block, and I am super late on the parry. Or I'm sorry, on the counterattack, and he parries me and kills me in one combo. So that sucks. That was totally on me, my fault. I was late, no excuse, So I'm gonna go back in with Void here, trying to get the last of his health back, and this is where you're gonna see, in my opinion, some super shady business going on here. So what's going to happen here is, I'm playing the fight as I normally would. I'm trying to push him intentionally to his special 2 because it's punishable, unlike his special 1, which I typically don't want to try and punish. And I've dodged his S2 every day in AQ, so I'm used to it. So he's going to toss his special 2 right here, and he hits me during my dex and kills me in one hit. And I took a freeze frame from the hit event here, and you can see Void is still in his dex animation. He's still sliding backwards, and 62k damage. So that is some BS for sure. So somebody else finished Corvus off, and I decided I needed to redeem myself with Void on a node that I am pretty good with. I also healed him up off screen. So this is a Mephisto, to which Void is, of course, pretty much the best counter because he's Incinerate immune to all forms. The trick here, this has Strike Back, so I really need to watch my power. The trick here is, of course, when he has his aura up, he is going to naturally gain power. So I don't really want to push him too much over a bar of power here. And I'm holding my specials until I can get at least one Petrify. I think with Mephisto, it's a little bit dangerous to try and not cheat, but just take the half power bar gain with a special usage, because if your special then activates his aura, then he's gaining more power, and if you pushed him over 2, it's just it can get a little sketchy for sure. So I'm not as lucky as I was during the Mordo fights here, so my Petrify debuffs are going to proc last for me. And I pushed him over 2, which I didn't really want to do, so now I'm going into, tight butthole mode, hoping he doesn't power can up to his S3, and he doesn't, so. Got one Petrify up there, take one of the hits from the S1, which was annoying, take a combo, don't know what happened there either. But I'm pretty confident that I can finish this fight. So I think I got my second Petrify up. I felt myself getting pushed back to the wall, so I called in Sentry. This was really not for damage so much as to create some space for myself to continue baiting special attacks. So back in the right side of the arena, his power gain is gone, so I can pretty much hit into him as I please. And this fight is pretty much over. His regen is proccing right here. Of course, he gets no health from that. In case you were wondering why he doesn't lose health, it's because I think his ability specifically says that he's like passively indestructible or takes no damage or something while he's regenning. So that's why his health doesn't deplete. All right, and our final misstep of the war, for me anyway, is a thing. This is the debuff immune mini, energy crit resistance, so boosting up again. I hate boosting up. This is what, the third time. This is the worst part about this new seasons for me is you know the node and champ combinations. Working around them is fine. Having to boost up multiple times um, because most of the fights on a path are challenging. It really sucks. So the plan with Namor here is to just play pretty much normally. Namor has a chance to proc bleed, but I don't think that matters here because I think his debuff immunity takes precedent over his thing's ability to remove rock stacks with the bleed. So I'm not going to be removing any rock stacks, so I really have to pay attention. Not hit into him except for a block when he has 15 or more. Trying to give him enough power through blocked hits for him to throw a special attack and remove those charges. And really, it's just a normal Namor fight, trying to build up to my special 3 to get that Fury. I'm really not doing a lot of damage here to Thing. This is in part because he has that protection on his Sig. He's got crit resistance. He's got extra physical resistance. He's just a tough cookie to fight. So, this fight goes decent. So I get the special 3 off here. Proc the Fury for the triple or quadruple attack bonus, I think, for 20 seconds, and then I think I come out of this and immediately lay into him with a special 2. The problem is that I'm not really paying much attention to the rock stacks here because I'm just trying to get my specials off before Imperious Rex ends. And it looks like I'm in decent shape here. The fight's half over. He's just about half dead. And I'm playing it pretty well. But as with some fights with Thing, if you make really one mistake and trigger his unstoppable, you're going to get backed into the corner trying to wait until it's gone, and then you're going to have a really bad time. So right here, I thought he had removed all 15, but he didn't, and then I hit into him. I trigger the unstoppable. I go back in because I wasn't paying attention. My indestructible boost has worn off. I lay into him with another special 3, trying to salvage this fight because I'm feeling the time crunch here, and I'm pretty sure I'm not going to finish him. I might timeout or death. It really doesn't matter. So at this point, I'm thinking just go ham on him. Just do your best. Now he's got 13 stacks and he's not close to a bar of power. So trying to get him to sit back and hit block so I can apparently throw a special into him. I don't know what I was thinking there. I think I expected my S3 to trigger, and then I'm back in the corner here, and there he goes. So, not a bad attempt. I definitely, absolutely could have played that better. I don't know that I would have gotten the solo. If I had gotten Imperious Rex off a second time, I might have finished him off, but somebody else did it for me. So, nevertheless, we did finish with a victory in War number 1. So I'm going to do the ending cards a little differently here. These are going to be like the item usage for each individual war, and then I'll tally them up and do a total at the end. So this war pretty expensive for me in terms of as far as wars go. 7 potions total, 3 deaths, which I think is close to what I had all of last season. So last season I had six total deaths, so I'm halfway there in just one war. So hopefully next time we can come back with fewer than 3. That would be great. But we got the win either way, so I'm very happy about that. So till next time, thanks for watching.